在政府新南向政策、非洲计划等政策刺激下，台湾大量招收东南亚、非洲等国经济相对弱势的境外生来台。部分在私立大专院校求学的境外学生，不仅学业不成，更演变成被压榨、被绑债的学工。美国2021人口贩运已经指出，台湾不良业者利用外国人从事压榨及非法的工作，其中多项更指控政府消极作为。政府在把台湾推出去，想要做外交惩戒的同时，更应当监督自己，民主人权还需要有法治，绝不能本为求达成政策目的，反破坏了台湾良好形象。
2021年，国务院就有一个报告指出说，台湾跟人口贩运有关的部分，就指向我们因为南向政策的缘故，那有外籍生透过中介，那实质上是在进行人口的贩运。
这次主要是报道者报道以后，那当然我们就觉得说，应该要站出来跟教育部对话，或跟社会对话说，这样的事情那不应该发生在台湾。当然这次的案件比较特殊的是，它又开辟了另外一个战场了，就是说从非洲引进这个学生，然后又发生事情，之前都是以新南向为主。
My name is Collins Mugisha. I come from Uganda, a country located in East Africa. I am 22 years old. It was unfortunate that by the time I celebrated my birthday, my first birthday, they had already gone through a very bitter divorce. So I spent 10 years without reuniting with my father. My father started a new family, got 4 children. My mother also, where I was with her, started a new family, happy family. She got 4 children. So together, my siblings are 8. Actually, the very first time I got to know about Taiwan was in around 2012 when I was in my high school. The bits that I know were that Taiwan was among the Asian tigers. That captured my attention because I read about history and realized that Taiwan's economy and my country's economy were almost the same 50 to 60 years ago. But presently, Taiwan was 35 times more stronger economically than my country. For example, I got to know about companies like TSMC, which is a leading company in the technology world. I was hopeful that if I go to Taiwan, I would at least borrow some kind of knowledge that they use to build up these companies in a very short time that have led to changing life and the economy of Taiwan.
那招生不易，在少子女化的状况之下，更是艰难所以很多的学校，它可能透过各种的管道去对海外进行招生，从这个高中、高职到大学都有那这次显然它是大学，而且它是以非专案的方式，也就是说，基本上我们基于过去的法律里面所谓的大学自主，只要你有能力招到生原则上教育部都不会有太多的这个干涉。显然这次的事件里面，他是用这样的方式，他就找到乌干达的这样的一个学生，然后也成功的招到学生，他在非洲的所有的承诺，然后到了台湾以后，事实上没有一件完成
Well, it was in mid-2019 when I go to see a poster. It stated some opportunities in areas of study. It promised that on the advert, it promised that it would offer work-study scholarship, but then the work was actually internship of 20 hours a week and in high-tech companies. So I had to immediately go and look for the contact person in Uganda who was called Dr. Jeff Lin. He said that he was responsible for assisting Ugandans to go and study in Taiwan. So I got to trust and believe in him. That was my greatest concern during the entire process, because it required me to go to a different country to apply for a visa and get interviewed and get the visa itself. So it involved flying back and forth before I came to Taiwan. So it was really expensive. However, when I interacted with Dr. Lin, he said, you shouldn't worry about that. This university is going to provide you with some funds. You can go and do internship for 20 hours a week. You can earn much money to pay them and also have some money to come back within Uganda and start your own business. So it sounded a very, very fair deal. However, when I reached in Taiwan, the school told me it had no idea about money.
那当时以中州科大为例等于是让他们来的时候是承诺英文教学，其实中州科大没有足够的老师可以用全英语教学，所以原本承诺的这个跟学生权有关的英文教学环境等于是跳票。当时也承诺要给他们奖学金可事实上奖学金也跳票，所以使得他变成是要背负债务的方式必须要去打工。那另外就是当时也承诺说他可以去实习，可是讲得很清楚，就是说实习是跟他所学相关的。可是事实上他们后来去的这个譬如说隐形眼镜的工厂完全跟他的所学无关所以变成是沦为廉价劳工。
I reached Chao University and well, it was already in the middle of the semester because we were supposed to start in September. But here I was landing in, so I was studying 5 days in a week, and the rest of the days I would spend them in the library trying to catch up. And everything seemed to go on very well for the first few weeks as I was getting done with my first semester, when I was told there was a job opportunity that I was arranged to go and work in. It's in Yunlin, and that I would be there for my winter vacation. It was a food processing company. It makes lunch boxes, which in Chinese they call piandang. So this was absolutely very, very opposite to what I expected. When I was still in Uganda, when the professors came and we interacted with them, they did not require any Chinese proficiency. And they assured me and my colleagues that the course would be 100% in English. However, when I reached here and I started going to class, the first few weeks, so the teacher would start the class and end it. The only time that I would participate would be to respond when my name is being called for a roll call. So this was really painful. The most terrible part was when I would try to get help, told me that if you wanted to study in English, you would have gone to the United States. You are in Taiwan and you have to study in Chinese.
他可以到国外去招生，只不过说，招到学生了以后，你并没有好好的去善待这群学生，而是用欺骗的方式把他们骗过来以后，进而导致他们必须要在台湾完全在陌生的环境里面去求学，以及说受到强迫劳动，我们认为强迫劳动的这样的一个不公平的待遇。
那如果我们看劳动权的话，那其实也违反就是我们对于这一类的，就是学生可以打工的时数的上限那他就打工的部分，其实应该要给他所谓的工资嘛。可是他有一部分的工资不知去向，那很可能是被仲介所拿走。
Well, I worked in the lunchbox company for about slightly more than a month, and that was in the winter vacation of my first semester. That was in 2020, I remember. And during that time, that's when COVID came into Taiwan. So the second semester was prolonged to begin. So during that time, I was taken to work in my second factory in Miaoli, in a place called Tongluo. The factory makes shoe accessories. When I started the semester, I did not work for a few weeks because the company, Polio, was offering me a job only if I was willing not to stop studying and I just keep working there. However, during that time, I needed to eat, I needed still to pay. I was being reminded on a daily that I had a lot of debt to pay. So I had no option but to ask them get me another job. In Miaoli, it's in a place called Zhunan. It's a contact lens factory. So when I was there, actually, they work with some complex machines, and those machines with some leather beam lighting. So my eyes are really not very good. So they got me another job to work in a company in Changhua. That company deals in metal components. So I went there and I worked. So I would work there from Thursday to Saturday. Then on Sunday, I would get back to school, study from Monday to Wednesday. So I worked there for the rest of that semester until I got holidays for my summer. That was in now July 2020. And at that moment, I said, enough is enough. So I abandoned work. I did not tell my school officially that I've stopped working. So I just left the company, went back to school in the dormitory, and I started thinking of ways. But my friends continued working because they had no option. Because during the work period, including myself and other students, we got some medical conditions that were resulting from work. I was there with my other friend. He's called Jay. We were only 2 students who were working in that company. We were operating CNC machines. Each student, I was operating like around 3 machines and he was operating around 4. So we had to keep on moving from one machine to the other for 8 or 10 or 11 hours. My friend got a swollen knee and he could not walk anymore. And the doctors told him that you are not required to do any sort of work, any kind of work for the next 6 months. Got clear to me that our life was actually getting cut short.
东南亚的学生来到台湾以后，跟这一次乌干达学生来到台湾的情形是一样的啊。首先学校到当地去招生的时候就有虚伪意思表示，也就是都有欺骗。见到最离谱的一个案件，讲说他们被安排住在一个庙宇的香客大楼，然后几十人挤在一个空间里面。后来NGO 有去倡议了一部法，叫做建教合作的权益保障法啊。那当然包括国内外的建教合作都受到保护啊。那我相信在这个法之下大部分的情形可能获得某种程度上解决，但是问题仍然存在啊。比如说这几年在新南向政策之下，就陆陆续续的发生有所谓的掮客，有所谓的仲介去介入高额去收取仲介费的这个问题。在我们开完记者会以后，就有揭露者就打电话给我们讲说，某一间大学跟某一个工厂的合作案，就是完全这次乌干达事件的翻版。 一模一样，让学生变成学奴的这个问题，事实上在台湾的其他角落是持续在发生当中的。
很严重的是，它也违反了国际劳动组织的所谓的强迫劳动里面11项里面的6、7项包含利用他的弱势处境、欺骗、威胁、恐吓、临时加班还有就是恶劣的劳动跟生活条件。那没想到我们台湾做一个民主国家那也会有就是国际学生遇到这样的一个几乎是强迫劳动的事实。
When actually we were taken to work in a food factory, I immediately contacted Dr. Jeff Lin, but he told me he would put my concerns to the authorities of the school. However, I never heard from him, but then he never offered any help until 2021 when he came to Taiwan. So he met my friends and told my friends to just work hard because he just told them this is what you should do, and whatever the professors tell you to do is in your best interest. He never listened to what actually we were telling him, what my fellow students were raising. Our time of staying in Taiwan had shrunk. We were now left with only 2 years, and the debt was accumulating. It continued multiplying. It continued rising higher. So Dr. Lin never offered any assistance. And as I was in Taipei, where I had gone to check on my Ugandan friend, she introduced me to a Taiwanese lady. I told her, and she was so sad. At that moment, she told me that I can not do much for you. So she introduced me to a certain gentleman. This gentleman is a worker of the reporter. So he investigated plus his team for over 6 months, collecting evidence and trying to prove what I was saying. And that's how, at the end of it all, the story was published.
Let 那至少在记者会后的2个礼拜内教育部有一方面协助他转学，然后转学成功，一方面也帮他就是要回就是他的这个所缴的学费。那当然我们希望教育部不是只是做这个个案，因为依照就是过去我刚讲2018年已经出过状况，2019年出过状况，监察院也做过调查，然后美国的国务院也认为台湾的这个大学有这个所谓的人口贩运的事实，所以我们要求教育部除了专案协助他之外，也应该要通案处理。那可是教育部过去对这一类的非专案班完全不需要任何的审查，所以它造成一个制度上很大的漏洞。所以我们一方面要求教育部要在制度上补这个漏洞，那未来你这个非专班的审查要严格之外，也要分就是风险的层次尽快在1年内因为教育部说他们没有办法很快我们依照你风险高的，教育部现在就去做一个调查，那不能够再有像 Collins 这样遇到的这种悲惨的状况。
依媒体的这个报道中州科技大学还对突然揭露的这群学生进行不等的恐吓或者不等的威胁当然包括说可能要求他们返还他们的相关的这个欠款要求静宜大学不能够收这群学生我觉得其实这已经是非常非常恶劣的情形那当然他也得到应有的惩罚，譬如说他被停招我想这些情形也坐实了我们觉得说他有强迫劳动的这样的一个部分事实上检察官也是依所谓的人口贩运法 的规定来进行调查。显然行政机关的作为，事实上是让我们跟立法委员都不太满意的啊。也就是说，这个事情从过去康宁或从过去的其他学校类似的情形都一再的发生，我们却对这些学校完全没有任何的作为。也没有任何的预防的这样的一个机制，这部分一直都是我们在批评教育部啊。难道要等到这个事情发生了以后，你再出来讲说，我再来处分？我们开放我们的学校去大量招生啊，尤其是国际的学生、国外的学生啊，其实它目的不在于教育，目的在于解决学校因为少子女化而招不到生的这样的一个生存的问题；二是在我们的很多政策论述里面，它竟然是解决我们缺工问题的一种方法。那它成为学奴，成为这个奴工是必然的结果。
Actually, when the story was published, I remember I got calls from many different people who were asking me about my current life. Changhua police and the immigration contacted me, and they launched a criminal investigation. So that is what went on subsequently. I started a new life at Providence University in Taichung. So the school offered me a full scholarship, and I don't need to pay any money for the scholarship. So for the tuition. So this gave me great relief. I got a call from a professor. When this professor visited me in my dormitory, I remember that he told me he would see how he would help me. He offered to pay for my dormitory. He has not only ended on giving me material support, he has made sure that I get the comfort, that I get relieved of the stress. And now my schedule is I wake up in the morning and I go to class, or if I don't have class, I go to the library, which is my favorite hangout in school, and I take off some time and do some swimming. This is something that I never expected in the wildest of my dreams. Sightseeing, like any other international students who come from Europe, the Americas, and Japan. However much my dream was blurred in the first 2 years of my staying in Taiwan. I really believe that I have really redeemed my dream. I can see hope in front of me. I know that everything will be fine. My hope of contributing to my country, my hope of contributing to the African continent, and my hope of contributing to the entire globe is alive today more than ever before. I also really thank Taiwanese citizens who got concerned about my story the first time it was published by the reporter. I never thought it would get that attention, but that only confirmed to me how Taiwanese are really good people who are willing to serve justice, not only to themselves, but also to foreigners. Moving forward, as a global citizen and as an international student, I really believe Taiwan is a great place. So, as I move on and forward, getting ready, prepared for my future, I am no longer a bitter student. I am a better student. Thank you very much.
那如果说我们是对外招工，我们是以说，这个工作的价值应该是5万块，所以表示这个工作的价值应该是5万块嘛。但是移工一进只愿意给他基本工资，这就是歧视啊！ 那2002年我们立了一部法叫性别工作平等法我们揭示了男女就不因性别的差异而在职场有差别待遇，但是截至目前为止，我却时常要跟很多人辩论说，那也应该不因国籍的差异而有差别待遇那显然我们这样的一个平等的价值并没有升华到对待所有人，而移工政策就是一个最典型的歧视的这样的一个政策。回过头来整个台湾社会也应该要去好好检讨说，我们怎么会让这样的事情持续的不断的发生在我们的社会里面。
我们当然欢迎就是很多的国家来到台湾那这些让我们台湾的这个高教资源在环境许可的情况下，也能够让我们有一个多元的文化。那我们现在发现的是运用就是有些经济上比较弱势的国家的情况用高额的奖学金吸引他来，或者他甚至是找一些中介公司去做不当的宣传。那我想这是我们不愿意看到的，等于是用欺骗的方式，然后来台湾反而变成是一个高级的一个学生的奴工我想台湾在民主人权，我们都希望能够有良好的国际形象，那真的是不应该做出这种欺骗，实质上等于人口贩运的情况。那这不仅是对这些个别的学生来讲是很大的伤害，那其实也是让台湾的国际的形象受到很大的伤害。
本纪录片事件并非仅发生在 Collins 一人身上，政府在拼外交的时候要做好完整的政策规划，不能牺牲某些弱势族群的利益，更不能用外来移工权利的牺牲来换取台湾被世界看见。应设法阻止这类事件一而再再而三发生，严惩不法，改善制度，防范相同问题一再上演，更不能让台湾被贴上人口贩运的标签，伤害台湾的国际形象。更应保障境外留学生和移工正当的生存和劳动权益，不能让他们沦为血汗奴工。